This is a podcast from soof.co.uk. Hello, I'm Patrick Downs. This is all about film, whether it be Blu-ray, DVD or streaming. This is Bring the Film. Belfast is a personal and joyful story about the power of memory set in the late 1960s Northern Ireland. At the centre of the film is Buddy, a young boy on the cusp of adolescence whose life is filled with familiar love, childhood hijinks and a blossoming romance. Yet, with his beloved hometown caught up in increasing turmoil, his family face a momentous choice. Hope the conflict will pass or leave everything they know behind for a new life.
Do you want to join a gang?
I'm not allowed.
Why not?
My mother said she'd kill me.
Sure, she doesn't have to know. That's the whole point.
Are you in one?
Aye.
What's it called?
Doesn't have a name.
Why not?
Has to be secret. That's what they tell you when you join.
What do you do?
I can't tell you till you're in the gang.
How many of you are there?
Not allowed to say.
What do you have to do to join then?
Whatever they tell you.
Directed and written by Kenneth Branagh, starring Jamie Dornan, Caitriona Balfe, Judi Dench, Jude Hill and Kieran Hines. Allied correspondent Faith Cleary caught up with Caitriona Balfe and Jamie Dornan if being a parent during the current pandemic helped him relate to his character apart in terms of parenting through a crisis.
Being a parent is an everyday challenge. It's an unbelievable challenge, and some days you feel sort of mightily up for it, and some days you don't feel that you have the capacity to get through it. Particularly when we've 3 under the age of 9, it's a lot. So I understand what that is. I understand trying to navigate these big decisions, but also keeping in mind that what's happening in the world is affecting these tiny people, and they don't have the understanding that you are benefited from being an adult. So it definitely all ties in, you know, and what's so lovely about the film is that we get to experience it through the lens of the child of a 9-year-old boy, and him seeing his parents in this sort of heightened state, having to make these big decisions, and actually probably exactly what you know our eldest has been looking at us through this last 2 years going, what's the crack here? Like, this looks mental. So it is all relatable.
I know parenting through a crisis myself, not the easiest thing in the world. Caitriona, working with Judi Dench, she's such a legend. What were some of your favourite moments on set with her?
I mean, just being around her in general, you're kind of pinching yourself. But we had one day where Judi and I are doing a scene. We're in her house, and Ken just asked us to improvise and to riff. And I'll never forget that. Just how sharp she is, how quick. She's just the most normal, down to earth, but yet I don't know, she radiates this light at the same time. She's an amazing woman, and I just feel very fortunate that I got to work with her.
Now, Belfast is hotly tipped at the Oscars, and both of you have actually been nominated in the long list in the BAFTAs for supporting actress and actor. Jamie, I'll start with you. How does that feel? Are awards important to you?
They're a nice little sort of addition to, the hard work. For me, it's about the day-to-day of making the movie or the series, whatever it is you're doing, and putting everything into that and trying to make that as fun as possible and have the most rewarding collaborative experience you can have. And then sometimes out the other end there's a real appreciation, and then it leads to stuff like this. Not often for me, I must say, but this has been a lovely moment, and it just feels, selfishly, like I just love that I get to spend all this extra time with these people that we shared this amazing experience with, and we get to elongate that experience by being in all these conversations. And as we say at home, won't be losing the run of ourselves, but it's certainly exciting to be in those chats. Yeah.
And Caitriona, for you?
I mean, the same. We genuinely had such an incredible time filming this. I think it came at such a special time. It was such a special project. Every day was brilliant, and we all loved it, and we all got along so well. And I think anything that sort of helps get the film out, helps get people to watch it, and also especially for our crew and the rest of the people in the film, the kind of reward that they get for their work by seeing it in these conversations is really lovely. And for Ken, I think we all just feel a huge debt of gratitude to him for bringing us on this journey. So anything that sort of rewards him for that, we're all about.
Jamie, finally, before I go, I'd like to know what your reaction was to seeing the movie in full with the use of black and white and the use of colour on the cinema screens and in the theatre. What was your reaction to seeing it all together?
Yeah, it was beautiful because actually a lot of time, if we were lucky enough to see any of the playback on the monitor when we were shooting, it was in colour, which still looked great. Obviously, like Jim Clay was our production designer, the sets were amazing, and Harris Ambalukas, our VP, like everything looked beautiful. But then that switched to black and white, like no one's going to argue, everyone and everything looks better, you know. So it was, it's almost like when I first watched it, and Caitriona and I went the same. With a small screening with just Caitriona and I and Ken, it almost made me think that everything was in black and white. It transported me to that moment. I was like, hold on, was the world in black and white when you shot this? Like in a very sort of sincere, authentic way. You know, it made it in my memory. It made it feel like in my memory it was like that. You know, and I love it. I think it's so clever the way he did it in that form of escapism when he did go to cinema, did go to theatre, and away from the sort of monochrome colours of Belfast, and there was just this light and this colour that was possible, like this crazy, you know, maybe unimaginable life beyond where you're from, and I think we can all relate to that if you're from a small place like that, you know. So it was very cool.
I caught sight of my face in that shop window when I was running down the street and dragging them poor kids behind me, and I was looking in the mirror just now at that same face. I asked myself, what the hell am I doing? And then I was sick, like I am every morning now. And I realised I don't think it really matters anymore. So tomorrow, when I'm back and Auntie Violet come round, I'm going to start back.
Directed and written by Kenneth Branagh, starring Jamie Dornan, Caitriona Balfe, Judi Dench, Jude Hill and Ciarán Hinds.